Hello, all, here on Wednesday, July the 31st. So I've missed a few days. I know I replied to a comment from Chris, so um, so he knows what happened to me. He knows where I disappeared to. Um, and if you read the title, I guess you know some of the story. Look at my lovely little patient bracelet that I ended up with. Um, Yay. Um, yeah, so, we did our thing, whatever. And I did yard work for mom Sunday morning. And I noticed at one point I kind of started to feel a little lightheaded, a little weak, maybe a little dizzy, you know. But then I just kind of sat down and, for a few minutes, and then it went away. I don't know if I've ever mentioned I think I've maybe mentioned the time in January. I think it was in January where I was trying to walk to work and I passed out by um, the laundry room. So that may have been more serious than I realized. Of course, it was something weird at the time. Of course, people were wanting me to go get checked out, and I didn't. But I should have. So the next time this happens, am I going to go get checked out? I mean, I want to say my thought on that has changed, and I will, but I might be a stubborn idiot, and possibly, apparently, almost get myself killed. Um, but anyway, so that happened, and then we went about our day. Mom took me back to town. We actually had been out to eat, and we were actually shopping at Walgreens. And like halfway through Walgreens, once again, I started getting that dizzy, like lightheaded, weak, starting to get a little bit short of breath kind of thing. So I just kind of leaned up against a shelf, leaned up against an end cap, and was just kind of like standing there waiting for it to go away, hoping it would go away. And I kind of came back to myself, and then I saw a seat over by a chair over by the pharmacy, whatever. So I went and I sat down in the chair. That's where I was trying to make it to, but I couldn't the first time. And I think I might have had to stop for a second on the way over to the chair, because once again I was starting to feel weak, lightheaded, short of breath. So I sat in that chair for a while, and mom did her shopping, whatever, and then she finally messaged me that she was outside. She had left. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll see what happens. I've been sitting here for a minute, and I could only make it about, well, I think I made it to the other end of the back aisle of Walgreens, where I had to stop again for a minute. Or maybe I only made it halfway down the aisle and then made it the other half. I don't remember. But I finally made it to the car, and I sat down, and mom could tell something was wrong. I was short of breath, and she kept asking me, she's like, do you want to go to the doctor? Do you want to? It's like, I don't know. Being a stubborn idiot, as I was. And then we got back to my place, and I was, I carried in my bag, because I had to carry in my bag for the, for the key, for the, the house key, whatever. And I rushed in there and, sat down as quickly as I could, because I was really short of breath. I was very dizzy. I was worried I was going to pass out like I did in January. But I was having a hard time breathing. So, since mom was with me, I knew it would make her feel better if I went and got checked out. And plus, I know this is something different for me. This is something not right. I should go get checked out. Like this is not normal. This is not right. This is something that I should definitely, because I was actually thinking about just trying to sleep it off and going to work. But especially when I got back to my apartment, and I had to rush to the couch to sit down, and was just breathing so heavy and so hard. I was like, all right, let's go spend a bunch of money that I don't have to get checked out and blah, blah, all this other stuff. Um, so we got out there, and mom went in and got somebody to come out with a wheelchair for me, because that was my problem. As long as I was sitting down, I was fine. But it was when I was trying to get up and tried to move that I was having issues. So they came out with a wheelchair, wheeled me in there, whatever, blah blah blah. And the guy did the EKG or whatever, did something, and he asked me, he's like, "Have you had a heart attack before?" And I was like, "Not that I know of." And then eventually I started thinking of that time in January when that happened, and I'm like, well, I started telling them, I'm like, I did have a similar situation in January where I had this shortness of breath, and I actually did pass out that time. I was telling them, I was letting them know, so they did a bunch of tests and did a CAT scan on my chesticle area, and it turned out I had 2 blood clots in my lungs. So, which apparently was a very serious situation. That's what people keep telling me. I mean, I felt fine, but I guess that doesn't mean that I would have been fine, which is what I'm saying. If I hadn't went and got checked out like everybody was telling me, I should have in January, because the swelling in my legs, I may have mentioned the swelling in my legs, or the thing on my ankle, the little bruise kind of thing on my ankle that I thought was just dry skin that I kept scratching, that it's still there months later. But yeah, they said that all could have been this same thing. I ended up getting transferred to the city, transferred to Overland Park, and there was a specialist that came in that wanted to do this. He said they put me on blood thinners. They put me on some kind of, thing in my IV. And I do not have very good veins. That they kept having to stick me, and I guess they didn't really want to do it here, because I guess it's very painful here. Some of them have faded. There might be a couple there that you can kind of see over the last couple days, but I got stuck. Mom said I was a pincushion, basically. So they did have me 2 different IVs in case they had to give me a secondary medication or something. I don't know. So the specialist came in, and he said that he could do, they could do 2 things. They could keep me on the blood thinners. It started with H. I don't really remember what it was. I'm not a good adult, so I don't remember a lot of what they said to me over the last couple days. But and he's like, or we can do this, this procedure. And it was something about putting a tube. They cut into my groin, super cool, and they shoved a tube. Okay, this might be a little gross for a minute, so you might want to mute me, I guess, if this kind of stuff bothers you and you don't want to hear it. I'm trying not to get too graphic, but I'm going to explain what they did to me, because I ended up opting for the surgery, because he made a point. He's like, well, they could have just left it, they could have just left you on blood thinners, at the original hospital. Like, they sent you here for a reason, and I was like, that's true, and it's like, if I don't do this, and I knew something was not right and probably needed, because it just sounds so scary. But anyway, I'm going to get graphic maybe here for a minute. So if you want to mute me, and I'll tell you when to come back. So if you want to mute me. But this procedure was, they cut a little bit, because we weren't sure exactly how they were going to do it, but they cut a little bit in my groin area, and then they shoved a tube up through my heart and through my lungs and whatever, and they actually sucked the blood clots out. And I guess there was 2 of them, and I guess they were pretty big. Mom got to see the picture of them. I did not. But yeah, it wasn't as uncomfortable as it didn't hurt. But I mean, that just sounds fucking terrifying, like body fucking horror. But there was a couple times where I could feel him pushing the tube in around my groin, and I could definitely tell, like, when the tube was going through certain areas up here. Like, I could feel it in my chest. I could feel like this weird, like, they had me on some kind of muscle relaxant or something, but it wasn't enough. The lady asked me at one point if, she said, I can give you a little bit more if you need it. And I was like, yeah, maybe a little bit more. Because it was so weird to like feel these tubes like going through my chest. It was so weird. It didn't hurt, but it was definitely uncomfortable. And it was like, please get that out of me. Please get that out of me. Please get that out of me. Kind of thing. But like I said, apparently, you're safe to come back now. I'm done explaining what happened to me. There's a cat at the door. But anyway, but yes, that I guess it broke up the blood clots and sucked them out, essentially. And yeah, then I've just been laying in bed, recovering the last couple days, answering the same questions over and over and over again. It's a mystery, though, apparently, because, like, I mean, of course, I don't really know the family history on my dad's side or whatever, but there's no, like, there's no history of blood clots. They figure it came up from my legs. So they were trying to figure out what happened to, especially since I'm young. I'm 44 years old, but I'm young. I mean, I guess this is not the sort of thing, which was kind of interesting because I thought maybe, I guess I'm not quite pre-diabetic, because I eat a lot of sugar, I eat a lot of shit. I don't eat very healthy, so I figured, I think they did say my cholesterol was a little high, but it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be for how much bullshit I eat. So I guess I'm lucky there or whatever. But because they were trying to figure out the cause, like, because I'm fairly active. I mean, not exercise wise, but with work, walking. I walk to work. I, walk a lot. I do a lot of physical activity at work. I hadn't fallen in the last, like, I think they said 3 months, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I guess I did do that fall in January, but which could have been, once again, part of this. So yeah, it was a lot of laying in bed, and that first night I had to lay like completely, because they didn't want me to tear, the incision, so I had to lay like completely still, and that was fucking terrible, like, because it's like eventually my back just hurt so bad, and I was like trying to like turn. Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit. But eventually I did get downgraded yesterday, I believe it was. This all happened very fast. When it happened, it was like boom, 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 boom. Oh shit, I need to call in. What time is it? Because no, I'm home, but I'm off work for like a week or something, and then on light duty once I get back. But yeah, I thought about doing my questions of the day while I was in there. But I never knew when I was going to get a barrage of doctors all at once, like every 5 minutes, and then when I was going to get left alone for like 4 hours at a time. Like, I never knew when I would actually have the time that I wouldn't be bothered to, make, this is not a quick video, but yes. But I mean, that's, they had me up yesterday walking around. I walked around the floor. There's a little square, circle, square, whatever. And I ended up walking around that 3 times. And I mean, that was a lot further than fucking, the back half of Walgreens, or the back, the back aisle of Walgreens, when I couldn't even make it that far on Sunday. But yeah, so now they want me to do a couple follow-ups, because I guess my heart is now, it's decreased a little bit or something, but they're thinking that could have just been because of the blood clot. So you know, they want me to come back in like 3 to 4 months to get to do another, like, I think it was like an ultrasound. Some lady came in and took a bunch of pictures of my heart with like an ultrasound, just to see if the, you know, the processes have went back to normal, whatever. So yeah, it's been an exciting couple of days for me. Not that I wanted it to be, but here we are. So anyway, that's where I've been the last couple of days, because I think was Saturday the last video that I posted. So yeah, it's like now I haven't showered in the last couple days. I'm like, gross. I just feel gross. At one point, I think they did that when I first got in there, and then this second day I was in there, maybe, they kind of rolled me over and did like something with some wipes or whatever. They kind of wiped me down or whatever, but that's not like taking a full bath, I guess, and just not feeling grody, because I kind of feel grody right now. So probably the next step is to take a shower real quick and just kind of rinse off a little bit, you know. I don't know if I'll try to do today's, since I should be able to answer today's question, maybe after I, like I said, clean up a little bit and get this video uploading. I just wanted to let you guys know what had happened in case you didn't, where I went, where I disappeared to, why I failed. Like, this couldn't have been like last year or next year. Like, it couldn't have waited, you know. And since I'm supposed to be resting, and because now I'm going to have a bunch of medical bills, I opted to not go to Omaha this weekend with Marilee and Sean. So that's a little disappointing. That's a little sad. Sorry that adventure got canceled, but you know, shit happens, I guess. Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere, kind of. So, I mean, I was fine the day before. Obviously, I answered yes the question before that. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck, you know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck, where the fuck, but it happened. So, and that's why I haven't been answering your question for the last couple days. But I'll do like a recap of all of them. I don't know if I'll do that today. That'll be a really long video, so I'll probably wait until I can get to my camera. Mom's planning on taking me home tomorrow. But I might answer today's question today, so maybe. Just to get that out of the way before I get even further behind. So I guess that's still me failing, because like I said, I could have answered the questions at the hospital if I had known when I was going to get left alone long enough to actually answer a question. You know, late at night, it probably would have been a good choice. But even then, the nurses every once in a while would come in and be like, "Are you doing good? Do you need anything?" Blah blah blah. So it's like, you know. But anyway, so I don't know if I'll probably do today's question today after I pretty myself up a little bit. But anyway, that's what happened. That's where I've been. I just wanted to let y'all know. And I guess now I will try to get this uploaded. You know, it's going to take a long time because, you know, it's not really good signal down here. But anyway, I should be back to seeing you for whatever I see you on a fairly normal basis. So, good times are coming, I guess.